Welcome to Fire Away, Seriously Funny Conversations, the podcast where we catch up on things that make us laugh and things that make us human. We are Matt Bays and Leslie Robbins, and today we are going to talk about Dark and Lovely, how Leslie almost died,
keeping it dark, y'all,
and worms and gout and ringworm
and ginger ale. Let's get into it.
Let's do it. Let me just start off by telling you this. What happened yesterday?
Oh my gosh.
So Chris, my husband, he's just positive all the time, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And yesterday, he starts out the day, which I didn't think was any big deal. We were talking and he mentioned North Korea and talked about, I can't remember the name of the leader there.
Kim Jong-un.
Okay, which he's a madman.
Yes.
So, and he mentions, you remember that kid that got arrested there? He was on tour over there with some college students, Otto something. Well, he's from Cincinnati. So he lives right around here. I didn't know, and was there. He stole a poster off a wall. Mm-hmm. And then they sentenced him to 15 years intensive labor. And then he came home within a year, brain dead from whatever they did to him, and died. Mm. Right. So he starts off by telling me that. And I was just like, all morning, I was thinking about it. And I was like, that is a lot. Mm-hmm. You know, to start the day, that's a lot. Mm-hmm. So then I post on Facebook this message, essentially trying to get rid of people who have followed me for years, people that are overly religious. Long story short, I don't really want you following me anymore. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I told him, I said, like 30 people have left. Like I was hoping like for 2,000, honest to God. And he said, yeah, and probably half of those are just trying to make space for new people to come in. Number 2, negative. Number 3, we go to Chipotle last night, and after we eat, we're standing outside. And I mean, like I said, most positive guy in the world. And he says, they rebuilt this when all those people came out with guns and shot a bunch of people up in this area. And I was like, okay, we're standing there eating ice cream cones. And I was like, I said, man, you really got like, this is your third one today. Like, and he starts laughing. He realizes it. Then last night, here's the best one. We're laying in bed and he's like, I want to listen to your recent podcast, Mediums, Mystics, More Death.
Yeah.
It gets to the point where you're talking about the girl fight and you say, I've never heard fist on face before, like just fist punching your face. Right. And he looks at me serious as a heart attack and goes, I bet you knew what that sounded like because of my upbringing.
You're like, oh, okay.
I was just like, I didn't laugh because I could tell he was really connecting and trying to be sweet. But I mean, we're in this story about a high school girl fight. And I was like, can we not do that right now? So I told him, you had a fourth one yesterday. He was like, no, I didn't. And I was like, Leslie, hearing girls punch each other in the face. I didn't even get the words out. And he is rolling. He was like, what is wrong with me? I was like, I don't know.
Dark Chris.
Mm-hmm.
It's like an oxymoron, I feel like.
Yeah.
But
he's just having a day.
Yeah.
Dark Chris day.
Dark Chris day.
Laying in the bed when he said that, I was like, ooh, turn on the romance. Yes. That'll do it. That'll do it. Well, and he mentioned my stepdad from hell's name. Right. And I was like, dear God, I mean, I'm trying to listen to this podcast and have a good time. You're ruining it.
Oh my gosh.
Well, that's that.
Well, I went to the dentist yesterday and found out that I did, in fact, crack my tooth while eating a Dots pretzel. And
I have the perfect solution for you.
Get it pulled?
No, I just followed them today. Swear to God, this morning. It's like veneers right now. And you just send in, they'll send you a kit and they make a mold and they will send you veneers. It's like Pro Veneers or something like that. I'll send you the link on Instagram. And I've never followed an advertising thing, but you know how I'm about teeth.
Well, you know, I need them with this Michael Strahan look I have.
I did not follow them because they're good. I followed them because I started looking through the ads and everyone looks like they have on like cartoon teeth. That is like, oh, look at what it went from to, and they'll be talking and literally, I'm like, no.
Veneers are like when they shave your teeth down to like nubs and like build new teeth.
Right. And these are like, just stick the little thing in your mouth and it's all your teeth. The colors are normal white, Hollywood white. And I think everybody chose Hollywood white. They're like celebrating like, yay, with their hands in the air. And there's just a mouthful of like bleached white, large plastic looking teeth that you would get for Halloween.
You know, those like country ones that you get, they're like all like mortified. Yeah. That's how I feel currently. But that reminds me of a show I used to watch called Toddlers and Tiaras.
Oh, damn.
But they would get flippers.
Yes.
They were like fake teeth for these
That's
little.
What these are. They're flippers.
Yes. Flippers for like 4-year-olds.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Where they're like, this beauty queen is 7 and she's lost 2 teeth.
Right.
And they've got that flipper in there.
Right.
And it makes them look like they're 40.
Yeah.
Everything makes them look like they're 40.
Honey, they do spray tans on those kids.
And they do this. That's one of their moves.
Yes.
Hands under the chin.
Yes.
Oh, and they do the kiss and then draw a heart around their face.
Yes. I love that you finally, a show you've watched that I've watched. Finally.
Oh, well, because I didn't watch it for me. You watched it for you.
I did. Yeah.
I watched it because it was on and my girls loved watching that show.
Yes.
That and Dance Moms.
I was just about to say it. And I watched the other day that little JoJo Siwa was on that show, and her mom highlighted her hair when she was like 6 years old. Now, let me just say, I went to beauty school and I learned that you do not permanently color children's hair ever.
Listen, there's not a whole lot good happening with those stage moms. Let's be honest.
No.
I performed my whole life, started singing when I was 6, 7, 8 years old. And my mom encouraged me, but she was anything but a stage mom.
She wasn't spray tanning you and stuff.
No. But some of those people show up with a spray tan looking like a circus peanut. And it's just, what are people doing?
I get spray tan. I've been spray tan before. I don't do it.
So have I.
And you smell like pancake syrup for days.
I've done it before. I'm trying to think of why. I think one time I was having pictures made or something, and I think girls do it before prom. Back in the day, like back in high school, everyone tan in a can.
Me too. I did tanning bed.
Yeah.
Me too. Oh, yeah. I was brown as a biscuit, but I'll probably suffer the consequences. Melasma. Yeah.
I'm telling you can get that taken off for $100.
All right. Hey, the other day when you were coming back from New York and you were talking about your flying experience and I didn't really like it, I thought of a story that I had to tell you and I waited until now to tell you. Oh my gosh. My whole family went to Cancun to celebrate my parents' 40th wedding anniversary.
Mamaw Tiny, is she there?
She was dead. So it was just like my brother and sister and all of our kids and our spouses and mom and dad.
So she was there in spirit.
In spirit, yes. They never had a wedding. They eloped. So they wanted to have a wedding. And so on the way home, it was me and Tom and our 5 kids and my sister and her 3 girls on a flight to Atlanta. We get on the plane, we take off, and about 15 minutes in, there was like this big, like, boom. The whole plane just kind of jarred.
No.
And everybody just got really silent.
Like it was a big boom?
Yeah, like it was noticeable.
Or you're taking off or you're 30,000 feet?
We're over the ocean, about 15 minutes in.
No one screamed?
No, it was silent. Everybody was silent.
Okay.
And the flight attendants were just walking really fast back and forth and would not make eye contact with us. And they got on the speaker after like maybe a couple of minutes and said that we had blown an engine. And
what?
Yes.
What?
Yes. And that we will be landing in 10 minutes for emergency landing.
An engine. How many engines do they have?
You have 2.
Lord.
We blew one. Everybody.
They only prepare for one engine to go out. I feel like you should have 12. Oh.
I looked out the window and there was smoke. It had blown up like fire. And I felt panic. All I could see was ocean. None of the flight attendants would look at us. They were just walking very fast up and down. They said, everybody put everything in the aisles, put your seats up, close all of the windows. My 2 older kids were in front of me. Riley was beside me, Tom behind me with his 2 little kids, and my sister about 5 rows up with her girls. And I'm like, this is it. We're going down. I mean, I'm not being dramatic. For once in my life, I'm not being dramatic. I thought this was it. There's no way we're going to land this plane. We are over the ocean. The flight attendant got on and his voice was shaking. Like, yeah. Now.
What?
Yeah. Like, be calm. We're doing our best. Finally, a couple of minutes later, the pilot gets on and says, this happens all the time. We've trained for this. We're going to be on the ground in 5 minutes. He's just telling us that so we don't panic. That's in my head.
Maybe he means we're going to be on the ground. Now, it's not going to be your favorite how we get to the ground.
Exactly.
But we are heading in that general direction.
The worst case scenario thinker is like, he's just telling us that so we don't panic and people aren't going crazy while this is happening. He's keeping us calm.
We'd like to die in peace.
Right. And Tom's right behind me with his 2 small children. And I just held his hand, Riley beside me sobbing in my lap. My 2 older kids are panicked. And then I can just see my sister. Like, I could cry right now. So newsflash, we end up landing. There's fire trucks everywhere, emergency vehicles. They don't take the plane close to the airport because they're afraid it's going to explode. So they let us off and we all get on this bus and we go back to the airport and we, get on another flight. Everything's fine. But that is my terrifying airplane experience. And then like a month later, a girl from our church was on TikTok and there was a guy that filmed the whole thing. And that guy was sitting right next to my sister.
He was.
Yeah. So, when you're flying, better have your heart right with Jesus is all I got to say.
My only real story to flying is that I never drink ginger ale, but I get it every single time.
Yes.
They offer drinks on a plane. Why is that? It's like, and I can get anything, but I'm always like, I'll have a ginger ale. Not like I've ever had a ginger ale in my life, except when I'm flying.
That's so true. That is the truest thing. Like, I get ginger ale too. I think it's like a special drink that I don't know.
It's just so odd.
Yeah.
I mean, I had to do something to get us out of this story. I have never seen you get teary-eyed. And you said your sister and you thought we're all together. The whole damn family is going into the sea.
11 of us going down. Boy, would there be coins dropping. We would come back.
Man, old Tiny's waiting on you in a coconut bra. That'd be the coolest thing, though, if you died and where you last were is where you get to be. So you get to be in Cancun for an eternity.
Yes. Love it. Yeah.
But it'd be your nightmare because they wouldn't have good reception. You wouldn't get to watch your Jenny Jones and Sylvia Brown.
And I was watching a show when that happened and it cut off immediately. And I was like, but we all got free trips for that. We got free, extra trips. Yeah.
It kind of makes it worth it.
I know.
If your plane explodes, you get a free trip.
By the wing is what was black with fire.
God, fire away.
Fire away. Yeah.
Shoo.
Have you ever been like at the airport and you're sitting at your gate and you see somebody and you think, I'm going to end up sitting with them? And you're right.
Were you scratching your head with a long acrylic nail when you
predicted
it?
Let me tell you, I was right. I know it's going to be that person. And I was right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Guess what?
What?
Our beeping machine is gone.
It is. I haven't heard it.
You know what made me think of that?
What?
Clairvoyance and like voices and people like speaking to you from the other side. Mm-hmm. And then I thought of our machine, Trina the crane. Oh my God. I know I've never had anything bad happen on an airplane, but I just don't. I'm much better with it now that I've flown enough. Mm-hmm. But like at LaGuardia, they're redoing all kinds of that airport. And you didn't walk through the tube to get on the plane. You walked outside. Oh. And I don't know what it is. It feels like a puddle jumper. It's not, but it's not a large plane. And when you walk outside and you're walking up to your plane, you're boarding it like you're heading to Fantasy Island. I swear to God, that plane looks small. Mm-hmm. And I thought, this metal tube is going to be careening through outer space. Mm-hmm. I mean, not really, but if all doesn't go well, we'll be in outer space. Yes. I just, that's a big sky and this little thing is flying through it. I don't like it.
No.
Mm-mm.
sitting by the lady in the blanket covered up head and ears.
That kind of stuff is just, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking. Last summer, I went to a casino. I never go to casinos. My friend took me to a casino, and there was a lady sitting at one of the games, and I was watching her, and she had on a Kate Spade bag slung over her shoulder and this beautiful power suit. And she looked over her shoulder at me and she went, "Need something?"
Ooh.
I said, no, I'm good. And she like turned back around. I was like, "Do you do this often?" And she said something like, "I'm not interested in talking to you." And I looked down, and I swear to God, this power suited Kate Spade bagged lady had on big furry Garfield slippers.
I love that.
I named her Kit Kat. I mean, what's with the slipper? I mean, she was planning on staying for a while.
Yeah.
Garfield slippers.
In a power suit.
In a power suit with a Kate Spade bag.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. Here's where my dad would say, there's all kinds of people in the world.
And for you on your plane, something's going to get us all. Baloney, plane. I know what we're calling this episode already.
Oh, what are we calling it?
Leslie almost died.
Like, this is the darkest podcast that we could possibly come up with.
I mean, you told that story. You were serious. I mean, we started off with heavy.
I have some news. And I've forgotten to tell you. And it's not funny, but it's funny.
Oh, God. Is it more heaviness?
No. Tom has gout.
No, he does not.
Yes. And he took his little kids on a little spring break trip 2 hours away. They're in a cabin. And he said he's been up all night with gout.
Has he been eating bologna? He has gout.
He has gout. He says it is the worst he's ever had. He cannot walk. I've jinxed him talking about gout.
I don't know why, but there are those sicknesses that make you feel like a dirty pig. Yeah. And gout is one of them. Mm. All I would be thinking is everyone's going to think that I never clean myself.
Gout? No, I think it's worse is ringworm. Have you ever had ringworm? Oh, that's the worst.
Listen, kids get worms all the time. Have your kids ever gotten it?
No, but they've had the ringworm.
Okay, I've had a kid with actual worms before.
Oh my gosh.
I am telling you, the moment I found it out, I felt like they were crawling out of my ears. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I don't know why I ended up sleeping on the couch for 10 days, but I did downstairs. Like I needed to be away from everyone because I was not catching this, even though I would lay there and feel like I was their host and they were creating babies all inside me everywhere. If you cut me open, everything would be moving and crawling around.
Totally.
Oh,
it's the worst.
Oh God.
Yeah. Lice. Woo! Lice is another thing. Lice, ringworm, gout.
Lice. Yes. Ugh. But those worms, man, you know where they are. Yeah. In your rumpus. It's true.
Yeah. Oh,
dear God.
Wow. How do we come back from this?
I don't know, but that'll make you feel dirty too.
Yeah.
Like you need a shower or to be hosed out. Oh, God. I can't even think about it. It just makes me sick. That's all. Well, we got to have something else to talk about. We just can't talk about you hurtling to your death.
What did we start with, though? We started with something.
Oh, I told you about bad news. Yeah, we've had a lot of bad news today.
What's our good news?
We started with Chris saying all the negative things and like, I bet you know what it sounds like to be beat half to death.
Let me get my list out. How about that?
It's funny because it's child abuse. Okay, so when I was in high school, everybody was getting perms, even guys. Mm-hmm. And a lot of them would either grow their mullet out and have their mullet permed, but not me.
No.
I grew out the top of my hair.
No. Oh, no.
And got a perm. Yes. No. Went and got a perm because I don't know exactly who I wanted to look like, but I just wanted some wave. And you know how everything at that age is magnified times 10?
Of course.
Like there is no small deal.
Right.
Leslie, I had it permed and they took it out and immediately I knew, no. It looked like I had a little afro on top of my head. was like shrunk up into teeny, and they're like, now this will loosen up. That's what they always say. And don't wash it for 3 days or something like that. No, yep. I went home and washed it immediately and it wasn't any looser. It was just as tight as it was. And my brother was relentless. He just kept laughing. So I thought, I'm going to the drugstore. It was called Drug Mart in Elyria, Ohio on Abbey Road. And I thought, I'm going to get me a straightener kit. Well, never mind that there was an African-American lady on the box. I just assumed it's a straightening kit. And it was the brand was called Dark and Lovely. Look it up.
Pause. Sparklers, I went to beauty school. So this disaster is happening in my head right now. And I'm loving it. Go.
So I take my box of Dark and Lovely home.
Oh my God.
And I just follow the instructions.
Sure.
Holy crap. Put the stuff on my hair. I'm waiting the time that you're supposed to wait.
Got to.
And Leslie, when I put my fingers in my hair to wash it out, I could already feel that we had a problem on our hands.
Absolutely, you did. You did.
I couldn't even get my fingers in it. And I thought, what is this? And so I started rinsing and nothing was moving. Well, it was like a Brillo pad.
Yeah.
And then when I pulled it up to dry it, like with the towel, it was like, I couldn't even towel dry it. I was just having to dab at it because it was just this mound, this messy mound. Then you start trying to comb and it's like, what happened? What is on my head now?
Yeah.
I'm going to get the hair dryer.
Oh, good. Give it more heat.
So I start hair drying it and I have to get this brush because I can't even get a comb through it. Well, the hair was so damaged and dead. Yeah. It was like, hey, it all went one direction.
Sure.
Like if I brushed it all to that side, it wouldn't go down. It just would go out. Like, do you know what I mean? Like straight out.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know what to do with that. So I was just like, I have to cut it off.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, my brother is rolling. He is laughing so hard.
Yep.
And this is my nightmare.
Yes.
Because again, high school.
Yes.
So I went to a salon and asked, it was a guy. I went to a barber shop and I asked this guy, I said, what can you do about this? And I was embarrassed. And he was like, oh, you have to start over.
Yeah.
He goes, we're just going to cut it really, really short. And he left maybe 3/4 of an inch.
Oh my God.
Listen, don't use Dark and Lovely on your white hair.
Where was your mother? Was she just like, great idea, go for it?
No, my mom, I don't think she had anything to do with this. She was not home when I went to Drug Mart and got the Dark and Lovely. And she wasn't home when I used it, which was immediately upon my return. But then when I cut it all off, she was like, what happened to your hair? And I was like, well, we had a situation.
Dark and Lovely. That's great. I never really had a bad haircut. When I was in 3rd, 4th grade, I wanted my hair cut like Wilson Phillips, that girl with the blonde, short haircut. Yeah. She had like a boy haircut. And I wanted that haircut. And so my mom took me to the beauty shop and I got it. There was nothing wrong with the haircut itself. Fine. On me and my chubby little face, it wasn't a good fit. So one day I come walking around the corner and my mom tells me, Les, you look just like Kevin Arnold from the Wonder Years.
I know that there's pain, but hold on for one more day. Tammy is going to have to leave a message in the comments explaining, not even explaining, apologizing.
No, I know what she's going to say. Well, I thought he was a cute little boy. Yeah. That's her excuse.
Except little boy.
Yeah, I was just a little girl trying to look like Wilson Phillips.
You can either look like a gorgeous superstar or a 13-year-old boy.
From the 1950s.
So that's it for us today on Fire Away. We'll be back with more seriously funny conversations next week. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/podcast Fire Away and on Instagram, and watch us via video on our YouTube channel. That link is in the bio. Fire this podcast off to a few friends. We need some more sparklers.
Sparkle. Fire away.
Fire away. More than anything, Leslie, we are glad that you are still with us and that you survived the airplane explosion.
Yes. Yes, me too.
You made it.
Made it.